Okay, so today I wanted to go over what the different roof types are called and how you would create them in Revit. So this adds on to the lecture that we already had. The roof types that I want to focus on are a hip. So you can see that this roof keeps angling up towards the top. And then we have a gable. So you can see that a gable essentially has an open face on the end. So if you look at the gable versus the hip, you can see the difference there. The lean-to we'll also go over. We went over that as well. And then eventually we'll get to the cross-gabled and the cross-hipped. This really just has to do with the shape of your project. So if you have a square or rectangular project, you'll just get these simple roof shapes, but once you start having different pop-outs, then you'll get the cross-hipped and the cross-gabled. Another thing that I'll also go over is how to attach the top of your wall to your roof so you don't have an awkward opening. And then I will also go over how you can draw different roof levels. Just because you're in a roof doesn't mean you have to draw one giant roof. You can draw 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections of roof on one roof plan if you need to. So to do this, I'm going to start off with our tiny home, and I'm going to open up a couple different views just so you can see what I'm creating here. So I do have the roof plan open. I'm going to go to an exterior 3D view. Maybe not this one, we'll just do the generic 3D view. And if I need any other views, I'll open them up as I go. There you go. So for this one, when we started, we did a flat roof. But what I would like to do now is completely change the profile of this house and make it slightly more traditional. So I just grabbed that roof and I deleted it. And what I want to do now is just go to my roof. And what I'm going to do is just sketch around my entire building and show you what it looks like to do a roof out of the box. I'll do a green check mark. Oh, this isn't out of the box because I've already changed some stuff here. So by default, let me edit the footprint. So let me turn on define slope on each one of these. Now, if that didn't make any sense to you, go back and watch the first roof video that we did. You should at least have the basics down. So by default, all the edges will define the slope, and we'll have a 9/12 slope. So that's what that roof looks like. Gorgeous, I know. Let me make this shaded so you can kind of see the difference here. Now the first thing that I want to do is typically when you're drawing a roof, there is an overhang. So even on these roofs, you can see that the roof kind of comes off the side a little bit. So what I'm going to do is grab the roof and I'm going to edit the footprint, and essentially what I'm going to do is offset the whole thing. And I don't want to copy it because I want the lines to go away, and I'll do a 2-foot offset off of each side. And again, because copy is off, it's just moving it instead of making a copy. And that's what it starts to look like. What was that? It helps a lot. So for those of you guys who are in the crowd, is this a hip or a gable? Yep, it's a hip, so it kind of hips back up like this. If it helps, just think of the shape of a woman, so hips tend to come out. That's what's going on with the roof, right? So I'm going to delete this. Let's say you're drawing it from the beginning. So if you want to add the offset from the beginning, what you can do is click on your line and then change the offset. One thing that drives me crazy about Revit is that, let me cancel this roof. if you click on roof, you can tell it that you want a 2-foot overhang, but when I go to draw, oh, it's actually working this time. Never mind, Revit's being nice. Thanks, Revit. Usually it gets rid of the overhang. So what I would do is just be careful before you start drawing. There you go. Now it got rid of it. Just make sure that before you start going and drawing that the offset is actually working for you. So keep an eye on the offset box over here. So I just redrew it. Green check mark. I forgot to put a 9/12 slope. And then what I need to do to fix that, I'm going to grab all my lines with our famous hover, tab, and click, and I'm going to turn on define slope. So because I undid the first roof, it went back and remembered that first generic roof that I drew, which was just flat. But by default, every edge of the roof defines a slope. Let's say I want to put a gable end here, okay? And that gable end, where are those two little windows? I think it's back here, yep. So to put a gable end on any part of your roof, you'd go to your footprint and you'd grab that edge and you would turn off define slope. And then once I give the green check mark, do you see how it's a gable end now? Okay. I will also add another gable end. This is a big roof. I'll add it back here. It's going to be the world's biggest gable. But it's all right. I think that's right here. Is it just opposite? Yeah. Let me edit this footprint. Do another gable end here. So I just turned off define slope. Whoa. All right, I think I'm going to turn that off. That didn't really help us. You guys get how to do a gable end. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Okay, but coming back over here, now that I've got my gable end, I have this crazy wall. Now most of you, with your walls, it looks something like this, right? Your wall's all the way down here, your roof's all the way up here. It doesn't matter. Either way, if your walls aren't aligning with your roof, what I want you to do is first grab your wall, and then this new menu will pop up. And you see how it says attach top or base? You click on that, and then you tell it what to attach to. So since I want my wall to attach to my roof, I can click up here, and it automatically takes it up and trims it. Now to make life easier for me, I'm going to do a hover, tab, click. Well, that didn't get me a ton. But I'll go ahead and attach all my walls to the roof here. And then I'll do the same thing here. So attach, and I'll grab the roof. So some of these walls are from an older design feature, so I can probably get rid of them. Or on these, I can, remember last week we went through editing the profile? You can actually set an elevation and edit the profile of it. So let's see if I can even do it in here. Let me just pull it down. There we go. Not the best solution because I eyeballed it, totally missed the top of it, but that'll hopefully at least give you an idea of what to do with it. Okay. With the same roof, what I'd like to do as well is add another roof maybe over the porch, because as I mentioned, you can draw several different segments of roof and attach them or not attach them. So I'm going to go through and try to add another roof over here. So over my main floor plan, I want to add another roof here. So I simply just click on roof again, and if I just draw a square, this is going to look insane. I know this isn't going to look right, but I can just give it a check mark. Okay, again, it's remembering my parameters from the other one. Let me edit the footprint, and we'll do the insane one where it all defines the slope. But see how I added another roof, and Revit doesn't care that they're running into each other. It's really okay whatever you want to do. Before I edit this one, let me come back over here. A 9/12 is a crazy pitch. Well, unless you live in Harriman, then it's like the normal pitch. I live in Sugar House where we like to keep it low. So I took it down to a 6/12. And again, you click on your roof. There's your slope. 4/12 is almost a flat roof. It's getting pretty close. But you can play with those to see what looks right for you. Now let's say on my front, my porch roof, I'm going to go back to edit footprint. I probably only want the front to define the slope. So this one right here. What that will do is it'll start sloping up towards my roof. Let's see what that does. Awesome. Nailed it, Naima. Let me reduce that slope quite a bit. Okay. Still not quite there, but let's say this is the roof that I wanted. You know, I could probably lower it a little bit. So base level roof, base offset, let me come down at least 2 feet. Let's see what that starts to do. Okay. Not perfect, but for somebody just winging it, I'll take it. If you have an odd shape like this, it might still stay odd, but a new button that we haven't seen before when we started going over roofs is this join button. So I can click join and I can say attach this to this, and Revit does its best to join them. And so here, it kind of cut the roofs out for me, but on this particular roof right here, it essentially fell short. So because it didn't attach, it's not going to kind of fake the roof to attach. So let me pull this down a little bit to where they would possibly intersect. This might be better done. Let me undo that. I'm going to look at this in elevation now. I think an elevation will help me. So I'm going to take this and just move it down. I don't think it'll let me do it from this view, but I'm going to try. Nope. I'm going to come back here. So do you see how my roof comes out really, really far? On my elevation, I'm just going to eyeball how far I want it to come and put a reference plane there. And what that helps me do is when I go to my roof plan, here's that line, and I'm just going to take this and pull it back to that line just to see what it looks like. There we go. So now it's probably too low. And I think, let me see if I can rejoin them to see if it'll help clean this up a little bit. I don't know if it's... I think, hang on, let me unjoin them. I think they're already joined and that's why it's not letting me grab it. But typically, if it has been joined, I don't know why it's not letting me put those two together. Usually on roofs, this is how I make my entire roof. And with the join, it would cut off. See how I have this weird piece sticking up? Typically with the join, it would fix that. Oops. I'm going to try it with a different roof to see if it joins it. So I'm just going to go back to my roof plan and draw one other random one to see if it will in fact join. Okay. Right, now I've got this weird roof out here, but I'm going to try the join roof again. So this piece to that piece. See, these two worked. Yeah, can you see in my wire frame that this roof is now cut out of the other one? So with this one, I don't know if I can't see it, but I don't know. It seems odd on how it's joining it. But then when I delete it, it fixes that hole since that geometry is no longer there. So that's how you can add several roofs on one project. You could even come in and let's see, where am I? Is this the front? Right here? Yeah. So on this part, I could even come through, turn off define slope. I'm so turned around, sorry guys. Left. I was trying to put a gable end here. Maybe you're right here. Let me try that one more time. There we go. That didn't work out in my favor. I went super mod. Let me turn it back on here. There we go. That's what I was going for. Now I've still got this gap up here. So what I would need to do is essentially continue another wall segment and attach its top and base. So I can show you guys how to clean that up as well. Okay, I'm going to put a reference plane down just to help me find myself. That way on my main level, okay, so here's the wall, and what I want to do, I'm going to draw a new wall, but this time instead of the base constraint being the main level, I am actually going to start it on the roof. And go up to the roof. I'm going to see if it'll let me do that. Well, I'll start it on the main level. I'm going to attach it. You can see it highlighted here. And I'm going to attach the top of it. I'm going to try to find the other wall to bring it up to. Okay, this plan here. So you'd still do it in your roof plan, but what you could do is when you draw your roof, let me...
I tried drawing it last night, and instead of putting it on the roof plan, it puts it on my second floor.
So you'll probably see it on your second floor just because of the level that it's at. You can still draw it on your roof level. And let me, is it right next to it?
Well, I took it off last night because I thought that can't be right because it doesn't even show up on my roof plan.
So let me come here and draw something like this. Let's say we have like a garage or something back here. So I'm going to keep these two right next to one another. Something like that. And when it's on your roof level, like for example, for yours, it's not on your, you have your second floor roof and then you have your main level roof. So you can go through and on your elevations, so I've got my roof. I could make a new level, but not make a plan out of it. And let me call this one, I'll just call it low roof, right? There's two different ways of doing this. I'll call it low roof. And I'll put this at 8 feet. Okay, so this one I could grab and I could tell it to start at low roof. And if I go to 3D, do you see how now that's lower? For me, I think it's easier to do it that way, but I know a lot of people would keep it on the roof level and then they would offset it 3 feet down. Do you see how that does the same thing? For me, I just like to keep those levels kind of tied together so that if I'm drawing more than one lower roof, they all stay together. But for this one, I hope you can see that even on my roof plan, let me make this, is this wire hidden line? Nope. Yeah, let me turn off the underlay. So with this one right here, do you see that this roof got turned off? Okay, so what you can do is change your extents. So here, if I go to view range, right now, the view depth associated level roof, I'm going to go associated, main level might be too much. Let me do this. Since that roof was 3 feet down, I'm going to start at -5 feet down. Ew. So I'm going to read that error again. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so under view depth, if you just come down a few feet, it should catch it. And I'm actually going to see, I wish that, I don't think I want to go all the way down. Try level below without changing the offset. That should do it as long as it doesn't bring in too much of your plan. But if not, you can just keep it at associated level and then just do the negative drop. And then it'll all show up on as if it were one plan.
And that's in the roof plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in the roof plan, I came to view range. And I got to change it there. And we selected view depth. I think that should help. So it all ends up on one plan. Okay, so that's what we'll do with roof plans. And remember, the reason why we're only doing 2 elevations is because roofs are really tricky and complicated and complex. And so for this class, for the fundamentals, we do as basic of a roof as possible. I mean, even with what we're doing today, we're going past the fundamentals. But for this final, having something like this is totally fine. But if you find that you're really close to getting the roof that you want, but you're not quite there, again, come to me for troubleshooting and we'll try to fix it together.